The KG lifestyle. Good morning. My apologies for yesterday's vlog going up so late. I was really tired apparently. I just fell asleep. And Kendall stayed over, so we just fell asleep. And so I haven't done anything. Obviously, I haven't washed my face. I haven't done anything this morning. But today's vlog is uploading. I'm going to take a shower and get dressed for church. It's uploading. I'm gonna take a shower, get ready for church, like get dressed for church, and leave a couple of hours early so that I can look around and find some apartment complexes to go to. At least to write down so I can call and try to set up appointments for next week. Yeah, I feel like I didn't tell you guys, but I'm searching for an apartment even more vigorously now because the place that I wanted, that place that would have been perfect, they don't have a 1-bedroom. Apparently, the lady accidentally told me the wrong thing and they have only 2 bedrooms. I don't know if I told you guys that. Anyways, I was kind of not happy about that because you guys know how much I wanted to just move there, and it was so close to where I live now that it would have been just perfect because I do want to stay around the same area, but it's not gonna work out. So I'm gonna start looking today and at least have an idea of some places that are around here because I didn't really look that much around here when I first came here, so we'll see. Super random breakfast. I warmed up 2 of the Morningstar sausage patties, and I'm kind of dipping it into this sauce from last night, and then the rice and a piece of salmon from last night. That's breakfast. Oh, and I did the dishes. So quiet out here. It's eerie, actually. Not sure if it's just a quiet day or what. Kind of freaky, but as planned, I'm early, so I'm gonna go around looking for some apartments. Brought my notepad and everything. The upload for today is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. It's like 80% done, but it's been doing that for like an hour. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at the time differently. But yes, off to apartment shop. Yay!
And the body is overhearing the conversation. Because a positive perspective would have been, yes, they're stronger than we are, but God is stronger than them. Let me show you the negative conversation that they're having. They say in verse 33, we look like grasshoppers in their eyesight. Another translation says, we look like grasshoppers in their eyesight. This translation says, we look like grasshoppers in our own eyesight. How do you know how your enemies see you? You perceive how your enemies see you based on the perception and the perspective that you have with your head. Many times you assume stuff about life that's not true, but it's based on the conversation that you're having in your head. Have you ever met somebody that always thinks somebody's after them? Or somebody that believes that everybody want what you got? Don't nobody want what you got. And the only reason you want it is because you ain't seen too much more. They want my man. They want my man. He said, have you looked at your man? They said, we look like grasshoppers. Look at what negativity do. Verse 32. And they spread it among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, the land we explored devours those living in it. Look at what negativity do. Now, positive thoughts, look at what it does. Positive thoughts, they do something different. Positive thoughts, once a positive thought is made, then the positive people gave a report and they shut up. But negative people believe they got to keep the story alive or it'll die. So they went around spreading it throughout the camp. You know, this is how negative people sound. Have you heard? Did you hear about what they did to him? What you think about that? Because that's what negative people do. Negative people believe that unless they keep the story alive, it'll die. But the truth and positive thoughts have their own evangelists. They propel themselves. I need you to look at this because Numbers chapter 14 shows us how negative people act. It says, that night, verse 1 of chapter 14 of Numbers, that night all of the people of community raised their voices and wept aloud. And the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron and the whole assembly. They grumbled. Now, why did they grumble? They grumbled because of the report that they gave in verse 30. Well, what was the report in verse 30? We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly have it. See, people will crucify you for being positive.
Yeah, they will.
You got to be careful when you're a positive person, not to be around negative people. Because if you're a positive person and you're around negative people will crucify you for just being positive. They'll talk about, when you start talking about positive things, they'll start talking about, well, come on now. Because I have preachers who say, Kim, I get time you trying something. You're always trying something. I have members who say to me, you're always trying something. Ain't never satisfied. You're always trying something. You're always trying something. Then when you going to be satisfied? You're always trying something. Well, I don't live in your world. The world I live in is the world I create with my thoughts. And when you learn how to create a world with your thoughts, you ain't got to stay a prisoner of where you are. You can inhabit all that God wants to bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus.
All that God wants to bless you.
Amen.
But we become a prisoner. We become a prisoner of our thoughts. What kind of world are you living in? Not your world. Because you have a depressed world. A defeated world. But I live in a victorious world.
Yes,
I live in a successful world. I live in a world where failure is not an option. I wish I had some winners up in the house. That when life tries to tell you what you can't do, I wish I had some winners up in here that would say, that's what I showed you how I did it.
Amen.
Look at what they say. Let me show you that. If only we had to die in Egypt. Verse 2. If only we had died in Egypt or in this desert, why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? Our wives and children would be taking us from it. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? And they said to each other, we should choose a leader and go back to Egypt. They said to each other, we should choose a leader and go back to Egypt. We should choose a leader and go back to Egypt. See how negativity will make you sound stupid? We should choose a leader to go back to Egypt. I could really talk about that with the election Tuesday. We should choose a leader and go back to Egypt. Look at how negativity will make you sound stupid. We should choose a leader to go back to Egypt. Stupid, you don't need a leader to go back to where you just came from. You have somebody that come from a dead and a dysfunctional church, and a church that was stagnant and wasn't growing, and locked in tradition, and they come over here and tell Triumph how we ought to do church. If you like that kind of church, then why would you leave that church? You don't get up under another leader for that leader to take you back to the place you just came from. A leader ought to challenge you and take you into uncharted territory. A leader ought to convince you that you can do some stuff that one time you thought you couldn't do. When you under a leader, you ought to be able to handle some stuff that 5 years ago you couldn't handle. You ought to stop believing that you're somebody's employee, but you ought to make up your mind, I'm somebody's employer. I ain't got to be the tail, I can be the head. I ain't got to be cursed, I can be blessed. Do I got somebody up in here that wants to go back to where they came from?
Hello.
Every year, I challenge myself. As a leader, I challenge myself. I don't want next year to be like this year. Something wrong. Life is an adventure.
Amen.
Life is a party. And you only get out of it what you put in. It's a party that you got to make out of it what you want it to be. You can only get out of it what you put in it. Life will only return to you what you willing to invest in. And the reason some people go through life and never get anything because they're not willing to give up anything. That's why you got more self-help books than you got Bible and religious material. That's why you got more R&B CDs and motivational speeches than you got sermons. Because you believe more in what man says than what God has to say. And God says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So let's bring it where you are. You got people sitting up in church, as good as God has been to them, they sitting up mad, focusing on what they don't have, instead of thinking about all the things that God has blessed them with. I mean, none of us have everything we want, but at least some of us ought to be thankful for the stuff that God has allowed to come our way. Just me and people who are negative want you to be negative. You got to have some positive people around you, because negative thoughts will make you ugly.
Yes, they will.
Did you see yourself the last time you was crying? When you cry, you ain't no beautiful crier. You look ugly when you mean and visible and you got negative thoughts. You will live longer. Because at God's table, we don't need the devil's advocate. The devil's attorney has no business discussing God's business. But when you have the wrong kind of conversation with your head, there was a climber, many of you may know, that was scaling the Alps, or he was scaling the mountains, and his hand got stuck. And he severed his hand and his arm at that elbow. Now, many of us, 99% of us in this room, would have died. You would say to me this morning, Reverend, they would find me hanging. Yet the only way I was going to survive is I had to cut my arm off. But he not only severed his arm and his hand, but he got down and got some help for himself. And you know why he survived? Because of the perspective that he had with his mind. He should have been dead. See, there are a lot of people who shouldn't have made it, but they did. And the reason they come through stuff that other people didn't make it through is because of the perspective. Am I helping somebody today? Am I helping somebody? I'm trying to change somebody's perspective. It's because of the perspective. See, you're not the only person that has ever gone through what you're going through. But you can control how you look when you come through it. Pastor, you know, when you hear about what they did to me, you know, you will understand why I responded and reacted the way I did. Yeah, that may be the way you responded and reacted, but that ain't the only way you could have. You didn't have to act that way. You made a decision and a choice to have a different conversation with your head to produce a different performance with your body. The mind is trying to control you, or your thoughts are trying to control you. And you got to decide, are you going to let your thoughts control you, or are you going to control your thoughts? Listen, you can't stop some stuff from happening to you. I don't care what people tell you, I don't care how many motivational sermons and speeches you get. Don't lie, don't you believe that? There's some stuff in this life you cannot stop from happening to you. Trouble and trials and tribulation are just a phone call away. You can't stop some stuff from happening to you, but what you can change is how you allow what happens to you to affect you. And that's the people. Oh, I wish I had somebody to hold that. Listen, you can't change where you came from, but if you change the conversation you have it with your head, you can change where you end up. And those of you that are in this room right now, the only thing that's going to determine if you're going to stay where you are is based on the perspective you share with your head. Are you going to share something negative, or are you going to share something positive? Well, Pastor Kenlock, I'm closing. Pastor Kenlock, what do I do when I'm seduced to give in to the negative? Whenever you're going through something and it looks like you ain't going to make it through what you're going through, just reminisce on what God has already done and compare it to what you're going through. And when you compare what God has already done to what you're going through, you'll be able to shout because you'll say, if He brought me through that then, I know that He'll carry me through what I'm going through right now. Where my positive people at? Come on, I need to.
It's my friend Tosin. We're at the original Pancake House. I've never been here, but it's supposed to be good. I wanted to catch her in all her glory with her shoes. Look at those shoes. Go ahead and model them. Oh, I see you, girl.
All the way.
Original Pancake House. Grits.
These niggas can't hold me back. Hold me back. We not gonna be bucking. We not gonna be bucking. We doing that fucking. Hey, hey.
Oh my gosh.
You know the Nov 4.12,
This is like a little, I don't know, some kind of cinnamon apple thing. Eggs. Most people got eggs.
It's called the Big Apple Supreme at Original House of Pancakes.
Big Apple Supreme at Original. Whoa. And then there's an omelet, and they shared the thing with the ice cream on top. It's actually really good.
Anything that you want, I'll give it up. Boy, you wanna see how good it can be. Just come with me. I'll swing my way. Sure look good to me. Now would you?
Oh God, I can't with.
That's how I can kill. Boom, 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 boom. Third wall, nigga.
Yes.
I got this trick for you. Are you a freak? Are you a prostitute? Are you a freak? And then he does a long pause. Are you a freak? And then he'll take.
No, real talk. If we go to the car right now,
hear the song.
if we go to,
You have this in your car?
something. Like if you hear the song, you're gonna get live. We gonna do.
Hey, what's up? Tell I ain't now look at me. I'm really mean. I blow that purple like it's freezing.
Oh my goodness. Me and Misha. Exactly.
See me coming, boy. Shout out to my nigga, dog. Shout my nigga, say it ain't. Shout my fucking team.
My team keep on with it. Yo, keep on I am weak. Cause there ain't no INT.
She said her name was Paris. I met her at one night out in Paris.
I got some tights. Trader Joe's. Gotta get soap. One for each week I'm gone. Maybe just one. Organic corn chip dippers.
Those are awesome.
They look good with chunky guacamole.
That's our new skill, chunky guacamole. They
Uh-huh.
added Greek yogurt to thin it out so it wasn't quite so many calories.
Oh.
So it still has a good flavor, but they thinned it and they added a little bit of jalapeno to it to give it a little bite, but not like
So
spicy.
it's like a real.
Yeah, and then these are awesome.
This is why. Okay, this is what I'm eating.
3 ingredients: corn, oil, and salt. That's it.
That's awesome. That's why they're organic.
That's why they're so good.
Yeah, they're delicious. I must admit, this is excellent.
Yeah, as I said.
This guy in Whole Foods is playing his music as he walks through the store. This is so annoying. Please stop, please. Whole Foods. That looks so good. The spinach and feta stuffed salmon roasts. I'm gonna try to make that, dude. It looks way too good. Feta and parsley and salmon. I have never in life heard of this. Tofurkey vegetarian feast, 2 tofu roasts, gravy, chocolate cake, coupon book, and then they've got gravy there, and they've got these different roasts. This is crazy. I've never heard of this in my whole life. Oh, wow. It's $25 for the feast, $10 for the roast. Bruh. Deepak Chopra is going to be here November 27th. That's 7 in Warren. That's crazy. It'll be right after the 21-day meditation challenge.
Oh my God, that's good.
That's why I can smell it. Miso soup. I'm just having some sushi. Deep fried special roll. I don't know what this is called, but it looks good. Back at home. Oops, I forgot I took these out. So sushi was good. I'm gonna actually have a glass of wine. Nightcap, I guess. Is that what they call it? So yeah. I forgot to get quarters for laundry. Unfortunately. Forgot to get those, but I did get my power berries. I ran out of those. And I got some organic corn chip dippers, which are cool to where I can make some guacamole and eat it as a snack. There's only organic corn, organic sunflower oil, and organic safflower oil and salt. So literally like corn, sunflower oil, sapphire oil, and salt. Awesome. In my opinion, it's awesome. It's kind of dark. So yeah, and then got these egg rolls that I'm gonna try soon, and some avocados, and my soap that I always get, my oatmeal and honey soap, 100% pure vegetable soap. I don't use like a bath wash or any of that. I just use my little vegetable soap. I try to be really careful when it comes to things that I put on or in my body. So that's the reason I try to get organic ingredients for things, and you know, depending on beauty. Like with makeup, I'm not like that at all. Like I need to, well, I used to be like, I'd get, I think it's Boxum who has like a almost 99% all natural mascara. I used to get that mascara. You know what? I think that was Benefit. But yeah, I gotta be more careful. Oh, and I wanted to thank you guys for your thoughts and comments on the video about my car crash. You know, I do take that moment or that time to think about what it is I need to do to move forward and do something, you know, better, and or you know, make my actions better. But after that, I do definitely let it go. Like you guys saw, after that I was good to go. Like with my friends, we were just talking and Skyping and all of that. So I just can't dwell on things for too long if I don't see a purpose. So I was dwelling on it for that period of time so that I could really think about what it is I needed to do to change. And then after I got that, you know, and after I solidified what I'm going to do in the future that's different than what I did, I was good to go. So yes, definitely don't dwell on those things. But thank you so much for your comments. I was really touched, especially, you know, with some of the people who were like, you know, let go and lesson learned. Completely agree with you. So yeah, I'm going to have a glass of wine and just get relaxed. I'm going to try to edit. Yeah, I'll probably edit this and then go to bed. If I have time, I'll try to edit another video if I'm just sitting here. But other than that, I'm just going to relax and go to bed. Work tomorrow, unfortunately. I really don't want to go. But I have to. I actually really do have to. I actually need to go in early, so let me go to sleep. I hope you all are having a blessed morning, day, noon, day, night, evening. And I will talk to you all tomorrow. Bye. Oh, someone else needs to say goodbye too. You want to say bye-bye, Buzz? Where are you? Say bye. Goodbye. He's all cold.
Cause I can give you the world, girl, just give me your heart. Hip-hop, I loved you from the jump, baby, right from the start. Plus I'm loving your curls, I'm dropping diamonds and pearls if you allow me to.